Hey, welcome back to season 3 of the Big Red Zone. I'm here today with guest host Danny Football is here. Producer John is back over there. I think we have his own cam up. Possibly.
On camera. Maybe. We'll see how it goes.
See if it works. We're going to talk weekend recap, all the Pats game and all the games this week in the NFL. We'll also talk about the disappointing loss to the Celtics at the end of the season. Danny has a lot of thoughts on that.
Celtics in 8.
Nope, doesn't work.
Keep doing that.
And obviously the Red Sox season ended. Not too surprised there, but we'll talk about a little recap of that. All that and more on this week's episode of the Big Red Zone. Welcome to the podcast. It's the Big Red Zone. I'm your host, Big Red. I'm joined today by guest host Danny Football.
What up?
Producer John is here.
Pew, pew, pew.
And we are coming here for season 3 of the Big Red Zone. Came off a nice week vacation. Producer John went away on vacation. He used the company card. Where'd you go?
Fiji, Bermuda.
I thought you went to Taunton.
Shout out to
Shout out
One
to
of the same.
Taunton, Mass.
They have beautiful beaches.
As you can see, it's a new studio set up here.
I didn't even notice.
You didn't even notice?
Didn't even notice we're in a new place.
No way.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
What's new?
Well, obviously the studio is a little different. Also, you may know Danny Football is here. Obviously, we mentioned James is taking a break from the pod. So Danny's filling in.
I feel like a AAA pitcher getting called into the show.
Tanner Houck
Ready to fire my fastball, baby.
We should have had something else for season 3 as opposed to just like, and we're down a person.
We got a new backdrop. That's the new thing. And a tablecloth.
We definitely thought the backdrop was going to look stupid. Well, you guys can tell us if it looks stupid.
Yeah, put in the
I
comments.
think it looks better.
Let us know in the comments or on our Instagram. Plug season 3. We're getting better at it.
Jeez.
Go on Instagram at Big Red Zone or Twitter at Big Red Zone. Let us know what you think. Also, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Big Red Zone. Hit the like button on this video and all our other videos and subscribe to the channel. Also, Apple Podcasts, right? You know this better than I do, John. Apple Podcasts, you can leave a review and tell a friend.
Please,
tell a friend.
God, tell a friend.
Tell a friend.
So sick of saying it, please.
If
you just told one friend, you'd stop saying it.
Tell one friend, please. But
they just want you to tell your friends.
Also,
season three.
We are excited. John made his first camera appearance on the Big Red Zone last episode, in last episode of season 2. And now, hopefully, if it works, he has his own camera. If it doesn't work, we'll just cut this part out.
Unless I don't like it.
Unless he doesn't like it, then we'll just cut this whole part out.
It's already getting warm.
So also, today's episode, we already told you a little bit of what we're talking about. Danny Football has the game pulled up. Monday Night Football, Chiefs versus Ravens, up right now. We'll be reacting to it. If we see something crazy happen, we may lose our train of thought and go with that.
This will just turn into a Chiefs-Ravens podcast.
It may. And right now, the Chiefs are winning 6-3. Butker, hardly know her, missed the extra point. Worth noting also, when we're talking a little bit about football, John is currently kicking my butt in a fantasy football league.
Crazy, huh?
Setting the record for most points I've ever seen in my life.
How many points do I have?
240.
Probably crossing 240.
240 as we speak.
236 and counting.
236 and counting, and I have a 150 something.
At 239, you're at 160.
So there's a chance that John... there's a good chance I either score 200 and I lose, or there's a good chance I score 160 points and John scores 100 points more than me.
The only fantasy I'm concerned with is the reigning champion of the BRZ League right now, and that's Mr. Danny Football.
Danny,
closing in on 3-0. Closing in on 3-0.
I have a snare over here.
It's a symbol.
Or a symbol, whatever. Sorry.
That's okay. So we'll be talking about that stuff. But yeah, excited for season 3. Without further ado, I think it's time to get to our first segment of season 3, a fan favorite weekend recap.
Weekend recap.
Just a quick clap for John.
I'm so
Doing the
stressed.
Standing O,
I'm
standing O,
so
standing O.
Great
stressed.
job. Great
Tip the
job.
cap to the crowd.
Jesus.
So weekend recap. If you're just joining us for season 3, where have you been? But weekend recap, we go over some of the games from that week. We get to talk about it. Danny Football, what's the first game that we're going to talk about?
I think we should touch upon the old hometown boys, the Patriots. Nice little grinded out win over the new Las Vegas Raiders.
It was a great win from the New England Patriots. I think we kind of talked a little bit about this before the show. It's definitely, we've seen over the last couple of weeks, it's a typical Bill Belichick strategy. Every week is different. Every week has a different strategy to win. They're not dependent on Cam, all phases of the game. They're not a passing team. They're not a rushing team. They're whatever team, the defense that they're
Against
playing.
the Dolphins, it was we need Cam to go off. Against the Seahawks, it was a shootout with throwing. And then this week, it was more of a ground and pound style with all the backs getting their share.
Right. And I think we saw that exactly Sony Michel had an excellent game rushing the football. He had over 100 yards.
Yep.
And on 9 carries, Rex Burkhead, big game for him. He had 3 touchdowns, 2 rushing, 1 receiving, 49 yards exactly rushing and receiving, which is kind of ironic. We had a great game. The thing that I kind of liked out of it was J.J. Taylor, the rookie undrafted, 11 carries leading all backs. His speed really is I think something that they're going to utilize going forward. And I just love this Patriots team. I love everything about it. It's a new breath of fresh air, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do going forward.
Especially with J.J. Taylor, I felt like he really sparked the running game in the second half. First half, we came out kind of stagnant, a bunch of 3-and-outs, kind of ball going back and forth. Second half, Bill puts him in, gets going, he's running downfield, he's breaking tackles, he's getting those yards. And I almost feel like it inspired Sony to really pick it up. He's been quiet, especially last year, disappointing year. I think seeing the rookie get open, get downfield, and get some yards kind of inspired him to pick it up and get 117.
Well, especially J.J. Taylor, I think, is taking advantage of the opportunity he has. Thoughts and prayers with James White and his family. But when James White has been out, I've seen J.J. Taylor kind of take that spot. So Rex Burkhead as well. He's kind of taking a little bit of that pass catching.
It's definitely giving guys more reps than they wouldn't have gotten.
Exactly. But the thing that J.J. Taylor has that these guys don't have is speed. He's youth and speed, and they're definitely taking advantage of that. The other thing that I'd like to point out that was huge was the turnover differential. 3 turnovers to 1. Those 3 big fumbles, 1 resulting in a touchdown. Defense, once again, is helping to win this game. And the offense staying on the field was huge. So defense getting stops, getting the offense back on the field, that was pretty stagnant in the first half. And now resulting in even getting scores is huge for the New England Patriots and huge going forward.
That's probably the biggest surprise to me with this team so far through 3 weeks is that this defense, maybe not as good as last season, but it's still holding up and still keeping us in ball games and winning us ball games. Considering Hightower is not there, Chung's not there, we're missing a lot of key parts.
Van Noy,
especially leaving in free agency, opting out with the COVID. And I said on the last pod I was on, it was up to all these young guys to step up, and that's really what we're seeing. We're seeing all those young pieces, Winnow especially.
Winnow, I was going to say, has been and we said going in, Winnow is going to be one of those big pieces for them.
I called for him to get the depoy, so Defensive Player of the Year is still within reach. But
he's having a great start of the year.
Absolutely.
And also Dietrich Wise, too, stepping up big for the New England Patriots. I think it's those 2 guys along with the rest of the defense. It's of course McCourty's going to do well, is great in the secondary. Gilmore, everyone, they do great. But those 2 guys that were kind of had big moments that they had to step up this year, they've answered the call, and that's the reason the Patriots are 2-1 so
and that's
far.
what helps you win these grinded out games. If your defense is going to stand on their head, pound the rock, control the time of possession, control the ball, and you're going to outlast teams like the Raiders, who aren't a horrible team. That's a quality win.
They're now 2-1, but they were going 2-0 going into the game against the Patriots. They took Darren Waller out of the game. Darren Waller was, and I said that going in,
You did warn me to take him out of my lineup.
Danny Football asked me, should I play Waller or
Goddard?
Either one didn't really work out for me. But Waller, I said, he's not that fast, so Gilly was probably going to lock him up, and they did. They took him out of the game.
A lot of different looks at him.
Yeah, they took him out of the game. Especially on that team that doesn't have a lot of, Ruggs was out. They have a lot of injuries on that.
Hunter Renfrow was their leading receiver.
Hunter Renfrow is, could be a potential waiver pickup of the week. Could be.
But we'll get to that.
Foreshadowing.
We'll get to that.
Foreshadowing.
We're not going to give you that for free right now.
Podcast. But they took Waller out of the game. He's the number one target on that team next to Jacobs.
Absolutely.
And
Jacobs had a quiet day.
They took him out. That's what Bill does. Bill knows how to take
If you want to beat us, it's going to be with your other guys.
Right.
You're not beating us with your stars.
It's going to be like with Renfro or these guys that are no names. They're going to have to be the ones that beat you. So that was a great Pats win. Very happy with it.
2-1 heading into Kansas City now.
And anything can happen.
Absolutely.
Anything can happen in Kansas City. Another game worth noting. I mean, there was a lot of bad games this week.
Not a good slate.
Not a good slate.
Entertaining games, but not so much standings wise.
One that's probably worth noting is the absolute collapse of the Falcons. Like coming off of, I was looking at the Cowboys loss last week, 2 weeks ago. This week blew another big league.
20 points in the fourth quarter.
To the Bears.
To the Nick Foles led Bears.
But let's be fair to the Bears. Off to a hot start from the Bears. 3-0.
The most deceiving 3-0 team I've ever seen.
I can't believe it. And they did pull the plug on Mitch Trubisky a little early in this game, if you ask me. He did have the one interception, had a touchdown. But they were winning at the time.
I feel like they were looking for a reason to yank him.
Yeah.
And they just took it. As soon as they saw that opening, they're like, all right, let's get Foles in there.
And you know what? Nick Foles, he was pretty good. Pretty darn good. 3 touchdowns. Didn't really get the passing yards. But they got some studs on this team.
Allen Robinson, 10 receptions, 123 yards, huge touchdown in that game.
If you're a fantasy football guy, Jimmy Graham looks to be, Nick, at least at the beginning,
huge
Nick
weapon.
Foles.
Huge weapon.
Foles is number one
Absolutely.
target. Anthony Miller got a touchdown. Like, they spread the ball around. The one negative for them, Tyreek Cohen out with the season
that was
with an
huge.
ACL injury.
Another ACL injury, man.
Terrible. But David Montgomery, who was just traded away in one of our fantasy leagues for, pennies?
Bag of footballs.
David Montgomery's no joke either. So I'm excited to see what this team does for the Bears. For the Atlanta Falcons, 0-3. Do you think they start to blow it up?
0-3 is a really deep hole, man. I mean, maybe not yet, but definitely 0-4, 0-5, you're kind of packing in at that point.
They're getting dangerously close right now. I mean, to be fair, they did not have Julio Jones in this game. But the young kid, stud Russell Gage, he was non-existent. Calvin Ridley had a great day. Todd Gurley had a pretty good day, 80 yards and a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Hill had a touchdown with 58 yards. But
Matt Ryan doesn't deserve this, man. Someone please save Matt Ryan from this organization.
Does he come to the Patriots? Possible guy leaves the Falcons if Cam Newton goes out.
I'm not going to
guy.
Unlike Noah, I'm not going to ship Cam Newton out after one bad half. But hey, if Matt Ryan wants the job, I'd definitely hear what he has to say.
No, and to be clear, I love Cam Newton, and I would love to see him in a Patriots uniform. See how this year goes, but I'd love to see him next year. I just don't think that's going to happen. So I think he's going to.
He's definitely playing himself into a big contract. So far, so good. Not like Noah, as we said. Chef Noah wants to ship him out. Shipped out after one half of football.
Even though we gave Mitch Trubisky 4 years. But I digress. Falcons need to figure it out because they're dangerously close to blowing that whole thing up. And I think the other game that at least I thought was worth noting was not really two big name teams, but the Panthers-Chargers game.
Teddy Bridgewater gets his first win as the starter down in Carolina.
And I think what was nice to see was Mike Davis had a pretty decent day. He only had 46 yards rushing and 45 yards receiving with a touchdown, but 8 receptions. He's kind of stepped in, and he's not doing Christian McCaffrey stuff, but he's
keeping you in the ball game,
keeping you afloat. And Teddy's nothing special,
game manager,
but he's a game manager. And they managed that game against a young unexperienced quarterback. But
Justin Herbert came to play, man.
He is
330 yards and a touchdown. He came to play.
He's another guy that's kind of like it's kind of like Joe Burrow, who I hope doesn't get stuck on this franchise, because it looks like they're not going anywhere. And also they don't have doctors that know how to.
I don't know how a team doctor doesn't know how to administer a shot to a football player at this point.
How crazy was that
Your
story?
Your own player, and you puncture his lung.
I don't know
how that happens.
How does that happen?
That would never happen in New England. Imagine Tom Brady when he messed up his finger. Imagine if the doctor just accidentally cut his finger off before the Jaguars game.
That'd be insane.
And he's walking out there with 4 fingers trying to get us to the Super Bowl.
He'd still get us to the Super Bowl.
He probably would, let's be honest.
But it's unbelievable. Like, that's the craziest. I think that's the craziest football
Charger's
story.
Charger's going to charge her, baby. Charger's going to charge her.
Justin Herbert, though, the last 2 weeks he's balled. He's been really
He's
good.
been ready. He's been absolutely ready.
And they had a chance to win this game. Chargers definitely had a chance to win.
Do you want to break down that hook and ladder?
The hook and ladder. Shout out to Brian Kamish of the Brought to Rocks League. I feel bad for him. He took the Chargers in survivor pool and had Austin Eckler, who got a fumble on this play. But last play of the game, Justin Herbert hits a nice the hook and ladder play. I forget who was the guy he threw to in the.
I think it was Allen.
Was it Allen?
I think it was Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen had a day, by the way, 132 yards and a touchdown. Seems to be with 13 receptions. Seems to be the number one target for Justin Herbert, because he wasn't doing this with Tyrod Taylor week one. And Phillip Rivers to an extent, but last year it didn't seem like he was that.
It was Allen,
huge.
yes.
It was Allen. So they hit Allen over the slant with the hook, and then Allen lateraled it back to Austin Eckler, who missed it. They fooled the whole defense out.
Wide open, man. Nothing but daylight. Nothing but daylight. They just make
that play. That's a game-winning touchdown. Justin Herbert gets his first win, and that's all she wrote. But I'm not like the Falcons with this team, even though they're 1-2. They should be 2-1. They got some pieces on this team, man, to make a run at it. Hunter Henry, Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. They go down the line.
It's definitely a team that if they go on a run, they can definitely get a playoff spot.
Absolutely. And they got the guy. Justin Herbert seems to be that.
He's the guy. He's absolutely the guy.
I think they can go on a quick run. I think that pretty much does it for weekend recap. As we said, not too many.
Cowboys and Seahawks had a shootout. Packers, Saints had a shootout. Cardinals choked to the Lions.
Worth noting to the Seahawks, 3-0. Russell Wilson is the future favorite to be the MVP.
This franchise right now.
He is the MVP of the season.
100%.
Hands down.
100%.
14 touchdown passes in 3 weeks.
The man, he could have had another one if DK Metcalf didn't fumble through the end zone.
Yeah. John, do you want to say something because you have Russell Wilson in every league?
He's a 3rd-round draft pick. That's all I'm going to say.
You're absolutely insane.
I'll say something for DK, because since last week everyone was kind of getting on him. Straight lines, score points, win games, baby. That's all I need out of DK.
We're going to move on from this last week in the NFL to look ahead to the next week. It's another segment that we do all the time, Picks of the Week.
This is our Picks of the Week.
All right, so for Picks of the Week, we each pick a team, a game, and we pick a team that we think is going to win. We usually like to try to pick competitive games. This next week doesn't seem like there's going to be a lot of competitive games going on, but hopefully we're surprised. So without further ado, Danny Football, give us your first season. It's a first season 3 pick of the week.
A lot of pressure here.
Wow.
A lot of pressure here.
I hope you don't be wrong.
Deep breath in, deep breath out. I'm going to go Steelers over Titans in a battle of the undefeateds.
Oh, that's a good pick.
I feel like after looking at the YouTube comments of the Leonard Fournette video,
We can get into it.
apparently we're an anti-Tennessee podcast too because we didn't know Derrick Henry's name. So again, I'm going to double down. I don't believe in the Tennessee Titans, and I think the Steelers roll.
I want to talk about it before we get into your pick. So
Spit on
they're
'em, boy.
still replying.
They're still replying?
Mhm.
I stopped paying
replied-
attention.
I
Stop
replied-
paying attention to you.
I replied.
I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I
Like
should pay
1 or
attention.
2 nights ago, because it was week 2 when he had his 172, 115
dear.
yards,
How
whatever.
did he
They
do
were
last week?
They're like, yeah, check this out. So I replied this week. Week 1 he had 5 yards. Week 2 he had 115 or something impressive.
Yeah.
Week 3, 17 yards. So
Which is exactly what we said. Like,
Yeah.
It's literally exactly what
we said it's a crowded backfield. We didn't understand why he went there because he could have gone to a team where he could consistently put up over 100 yards.
Right. It's not that we think he's bad.
We didn't put him in the ground or anything. We just said it's a crowded backfield, and he's going to do this now. He's going to go 1 point 1 week, a lot of points the next week, and then he's going to fall off a cliff again.
Yeah. It's just there's too many cooks in the kitchen. That's all it is.
Too many cooks. All right, let me see. I'll pull it up right now. I don't care about putting them on blast. All right, so 2 weeks ago, someone commented, "You saw Fournette go for 28 today in PPR, ? So, and I replied, 5 yards on the 13th, 103 yards on the 20th, 15 yards on the 27th. Go on.
Not consistency.
Like, I don't know what they're winning from this.
So next week if he puts up 100
He'll
yards,
pop-
you're gonna
right,
say
he'll
like,
reply
"Oh,
back."
see."
Yeah.
It's not that we think he's bad. I think that's what everyone gets confused. We don't think he's bad. We just think there's not
The
enough
situation
football.
isn't what he should
Right.
be going for.
Now, if he's trying to win a Super Bowl, totally. I get it.
If he wants the ring, he's going to get a good chance at the ring. But if he's looking to put up numbers, he's not going to do it.
But
So-
I just wanted to. We do bring it up every week.
Yeah.
There's a new comment every week. Hopefully, that's the last time we bring up that specific.
Bring that smoke, guys. Bring that
video.
smoke.
Yeah, we want that smoke, baby.
Okay, so you're going Pitt over.
I'm going to go Pittsburgh
Titans.
over Tennessee. Tennessee, I think, are a bunch of frauds, and the Steelers are going to roll.
Here we go. Now, I was wrong last pick of the week. I did. By we have a booze next time if you wanted to play it, there's a booze transition if you wanted to
I'm
play it.
already struggling.
You're right, yeah.
We're already
We'll
here.
worry about that in season 4. I guess the Pats over the Seattle Seahawks. We should have won that game, I might add. We're not going to get into it. It's 2 weeks old news. But we're a bad Josh McDaniels play call away from winning that game. So I'm going to double down on the New England Patriots. I say they go into Kansas City. They're probably going to be Kansas City has to be heavy favorites in that game.
Let's find out.
Look at the odds because that's another thing.
Keep
That's
saying
another
stuff
thing. When
while
I said
get
the
this.
Saints were going to beat the Bucks, they were favored, but a lot of people didn't think they would win. And then everyone came and said, "I don't think it's shock in the world because they're favorites."
Well, we were also a N'Keal Harry foot in bounds away from beating them last year.
Right. So
It's not like we don't know how to play the Chiefs.
So I think that they're going to beat the Chiefs. I think they're going to find Bill is going to construct
Whenever
some
you're ready,
game
I
plan.
have the
What's
spread
the
and
odds?
odds.
What's the odds?
Moneyline, Pats plus 235. The spread, New England plus 7.
So they're giving them a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
I think they win. I think the Pats find a way to win.
Outright or with the spread?
I say outright.
All right.
I think. I mean, it's going to be a close game. It's going to be maybe a touchdown, maybe a field goal.
I mean, for all we know, the Chiefs could completely implode tonight against the Ravens. So
Yeah. I mean, right now they're winning. I believe they're winning. But I think they're going to shock the world. I think. Last time I said that, I was right. So I'm going to.
I mean, you're pretty good at predictions on this show. So
I do have some pretty good predictions.
You've been pretty good.
I've been pretty good. I was, as I said, a bad Josh McDaniels play call away from winning that game.
as of right now, 9:31 p.m. on September 28th, the Chiefs are leading 20-10, 2 minutes before half.
And I said the Chiefs were going to win. Everyone was saying that they thought the Ravens were going to win. I think the pregame analysts, almost everyone said Ravens would win that
The
game.
Ravens don't win games against good teams. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, they're just. I think they're a very good team. They just need a little more experience. But anyways, I digress. Pats are going to win. against the KC Chiefs next week.
You heard it here first. Bet the house on the Pats.
Bet
Big
the
red
house.
seal of approval.
John, do you want to put a pick of the weekend?
I got Packers over Falcons.
So you think the Falcons? I like it. Packers
Over Falcons.
Hey, what I tell you,
I'm a big
Aaron Rodgers
guy, yeah.
Aaron Rodgers.
Chip on his shoulder, man. Chip on his shoulder.
If Russell Wilson wasn't having a historic jeez.
I know. I dropped it on the keyboard. I hope it didn't.
My reaction is priceless if you run that back.
I hope it just didn't delete this whole this whole thing. If Russell Wilson wasn't having a historic start of the season, I think Aaron Rodgers would be right in there with potential future MVP caliber player.
There's still plenty of time.
Plenty of time. So that was our picks of the week. We're also going to do real quick something that we haven't done in a long time. Waiver pickups of the week. Real quick.
I need to find another transition.
No, we don't have one for that. We're just going right into it. We're going right into it, producer John.
Waiver pickup of the week. Boom, there it is.
Right here. That's a good transition. Waiver pickup of the week.
Guys, record that real quick.
I know. I'll save it or something.
I'll do mine first. I think I'll just go. Brandon Ayuki, the wide receiver rookie from, I got to look up how much he's rostered, but he's the rookie wide receiver from the 49ers. I drafted him in Dynasty, and I'll tell you, kid's good.
This kid right here, he's pretty good.
He had a great game last week, as my Wi-Fi won't. But ESPN stinks. I hate this app. I really do.
We're a sleeper app podcast.
We switched to Sleeper, but I'm still in two leagues on ESPN.
At Sleeper HQ, hit us up.
Yeah, Sleeper. If you want to sponsor us, hit us up, because
Big Red never wants to use ESPN again.
I really don't. I've been hinting to Brian to switch.
Mine popped right up.
Yeah, I hate.
And let's see if I can save this segment for Big Red.
Yeah, save it for me, because this isn't working. This is useless. But he's having a great week. Last week. He's a fast, speedy guy. They have a banged up wide receiver core, and he's gonna be a nice piece going forward. Keeper leagues, great. How much is he rostered?
16.6.
16.6. You can find him in pretty much every league. He's not going to be rostered in many leagues, so go get him. He's a good keeper late for a last round pick. I think he's going to be a stud in his career.
I'm going to go with Cole Beasley from the Buffalo Bills.
A wily veteran. The rookie and the wily vet.
The Wes Welker, the Julian Edelman of the North, if you would. Right now, he's rostered in 10.4. His last 3 weeks, the man has put up a 9.8, 12, and 16. I think him and Josh Allen are starting to click on all cylinders. White lightning hits his boy, and I'm going Cole Beasley as my waiver pickup of the week.
He had a good rapport with him last year, too.
He's just that solid security blanket over the middle.
Yeah, he's a great slot receiver. He's going to get you receptions in a PPR league. He's going to get you those goal line touchdowns. He's a great waiver guy to have on your team. Do you have a waiver that you want to say?
If you have this kid, Russell Wilson, sitting on your waiver pool, suggest picking up this kid, Russell Wilson. Or I picked up Darrell Henderson.
Yeah, I realized that. Yeah, he did pretty well. He did pretty well, huh?
Because whoever the starter was, got hurt for the Rams or Chargers. What team is he on?
He's on the Rams.
Oh, man.
We're on a roll here. We're going to have a bunch of YouTube commenters. He doesn't
jump
even
down
know.
Your throat.
He doesn't even know who the Rams starter is.
A lot of Rams fans out there.
A lot of Rams fans. I'm sorry for you.
Talk that talk.
So you going Darrell Henderson? I don't know what he's rostered. He has to be rostered pretty high now.
I picked him up.
Let's see if we can't find out real quick.
Oh dear, he's off camera.
Darrell Henderson is rostered in 67.9.
But it was a recent ad. 22% over the last 22% over the last week. So all right, so that was our waiver pick of the week. We'll do that every week and give you a little insight going into waivers section of the
and win you
fantasy.
Your league.
Help you win your league. We do accept some of your buy-in, some of the winnings.
Yeah, we need a cut of that.
We need to help pay off all our fantasy football debt.
Absolutely.
So this is a tough part. We're segueing out of football right now, and this is really a tough pill to swallow for us. We're getting into Celtics talk right now, and I'll tell you what. I have been disappointed before in sporting events. I saw the David Tyree catch when I was younger. Lost sleep for almost a week. The Philly special Super Bowl, lost sleep over that. But I will tell you what, this Celtics team, I am embarrassed. What a gutless, absolutely sham of a team that we had. I am embarrassed.
Go get him, man. Go get him.
I am disappointed beyond all belief. And it's not because we lost. I'm disappointed because we lost. I'm disappointed even more of the way we lost. We looked like we wanted to be anywhere but the NBA Finals, and never mind the Eastern Conference Finals. I was, we texted during the games all the time, and I thought we had something coming at the momentum coming out of Game 5, Game 6, a horrendous start, but in that start the half, we had them. We had a good run, and as I said, I'm embarrassed. Doesn't happen often. I'm a little embarrassed to be a Celtics fan.
I think we all know how I felt, especially the last time I was on the pod. It was right before Game 5 of the Raptors series. I think it was before Game
6 of the.
I think
Raptors
it was before
series.
Game 5 or Game 6. So you all know how I felt about that series, and we were able to pull that one out. I feel like right now it's iso ball. I just gave Big Red the ball, and he's just gonna drive to the hoop. He's on a roll right now, but with the Celtics, man, I mean,
I wish the Celtics would do that, drive to the hoop, instead of going 0 for about 20 from 3 and giving up the lead that you had. It was just a horrendous. They cannot close a game. Absolutely.
I'm clearing the lane for you, Big Red. If you're gonna drive the lane, drive the lane. I'll step out of the way.
No, I'll just keep saying how awful that series was.
So I'll start with saying 3-1 is such a deep hole to put yourselves in, especially when games 1 and 2 should have been yours in the first place. They were a couple plays away from being able to either sweep or win this in 5. And they just didn't play their brand of basketball. Too many mistakes, too many turnovers. Certain players didn't show up. Certain players didn't play entire games. It was more frustrating than anything. Embarrass is a good word, but it's more just disappointing. You will never have this easy of a path. I'd argue again. The Clippers fall off. They don't even make it to the conference finals. The Bucks get bounced early. You don't even have to face them.
Rockets.
You sweep your first round. You only play 4 games, so it's not like you got stretched 7 games. Granted, the Raptors series was hard on you, but
that was the toughest series, I think.
And that was a series that you, again, could have gone up 3-0 if they don't hit that buzzer beater, and then you breeze through that one too. And then you play a Miami team, which I'll give them credit. They were a gutsy dog team that just grinded for every possession. They made everything so hard for the Celtics, but it was a beatable team.
Yeah.
It was a series that you should have had. You had more top end talent, and you let Bam Adebayo turn into the boogeyman in Game 6 and just completely take over in the fourth quarter. They were up 96-90 halfway through that quarter, and they fell apart. Let me just pull up the possessions after a certain shot. I'll credit to Dan Greenberg for tweeting this out.
Yeah, that was a great tweet.
Jason Tatum makes a 2-point shot to make it 102-103 with 5:40 left. These are the next possessions, Big Red, if you want to react accordingly. Kemba missed 3. Tatum turnover. Kemba missed 3. Tatum missed 3. Smart missed 3. Tatum missed a technical free throw. Jalen missed a 3. Smart missed a layup, and Kemba got a turnover.
Is there Gordon Hayward missed?
No Gordon Hayward misses. Just Kemba, Tatum, Smart, Jalen, and a free throw missed.
They missed the Gordon Hayward.
That's with
miss.
5:40 left in a 1-point game, and that was the result afterward.
They missed the Gordon Hayward missed layup too. It was terrible. As I said, can't close a game out. You take the lead, you're battling, that's a hard-fought game, and you miss layups. You stop taking it to the hoop. You miss free throws. You turn the ball over. No guts in this team, and just an absolute disappointment. The one guy, I'll give him 2, even though he had a turnover and a couple misses in there. The 2 guys that I don't have any I don't put pretty much none of everyone shares a little bit of the blame pie.
You're cutting some slack.
Two guys I cut slack, Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart. Jaylen Brown was the most consistent player in this series, in this season, this playoff bubble. When I say season, the bubble. In the season, he was really good all year, but the bubble, playoff run. I don't think they gave him the ball enough, to be honest with you. He was the most consistent shooter on that team.
Definitely the most aggressive.
Most aggressive, driving to the hoop. I think they had to get him the ball more in crunch time, which they didn't. Marcus Smart defensively and intensity. I think the true leader of the Celtics team.
The heart and soul of the Celtics.
Heart and soul of this team. I cut him a little slack too. He does things like I was saying about Marcus Smart when I was watching the game.
He's such a no yes guy.
Yeah.
Like every time he rears up for a shot, I'm like, he's gonna brick this, and then sometimes he hits it, man. Sometimes he hits it.
And he does he'll do play the whole game, 3/4 of doing nothing but awesome, excellent, high intelligent basketball move.
And then sometimes he falls into that hero ball.
5 possessions.
He'll fall into hero ball, yeah.
I think big into the loss that made him go 3-1. There was a point where we had him on the ropes. We were down 3. And he takes this hero ball 3-point shot. Didn't make any sense. Turns the ball over a couple times late. But that was
my biggest gripe with Game 6 is we were kind of kicking their ass the entire fourth quarter up until a point, and they fell into that trap of let's just go for home run threes. Let's get these guys out of here. I'd so much rather, if you want to try to go for home run threes, if you miss those first 2 threes, start driving back to the hoop, man. Get those guaranteed buckets. Don't start jacking up threes thinking, all right, well, either these are going to fall and we're going to run them off the court, or we miss a couple, but the rest are going to hit, and then that'll get us back into the game. You dug yourselves way too deep of a hole. And I know the final score is 125-13. It wasn't even that close. I mean, no. Once the floodgates opened, we just got buried, man.
Yeah. And give credit to the Miami team, like we said. Bam Adebayo is an all-star. Great, one of the best centers in the game. Jimmy Butler is an all-star and doesn't get enough credit he deserves. But you let some of these rookies, these 20-year-old kids, beat you.
You let Tyler Hero beat you single-handedly.
Hero beat you. You let
Duncan Robinson hit some huge threes.
Robinson beat
Dragic hit some huge threes.
You let old man Iguodala beat you. And give credit to Iguodala. He's a vet. He's been there now 6 times, right? This is his 6th NBA Finals appearance in a row.
Right, yeah.
Jay Crowder. You let Jay beat you. You let all these guys, old guys or young guys, beat you. You should be embarrassed. That's an embarrassing thing. You have Jaylen Brown going into the prime, Jason Tatum going into his prime. You brought over a star in Kemba Walker, Gordon Hayward, who hasn't been right. He's been battling injuries. Marcus Smart, go down the line. Now, this leads me to my question for you. Who's to blame most? Who do you think's to blame of this absolute demise of a championship team?
I'm not going to blame him specifically for the team's play, because guys definitely could have executed better, and I do believe that it's up to a player to go out there, play their game, and if shots aren't falling, do something, change up the game plan. But I think Brad Stevens needs to at least get most of the blame here, just from an effort and game planning standpoint. I'm not saying fire the man. I'm not saying, pitchforks and torches, run him out of town. But you need to be able to either completely change your game plan and be able to break down a Miami zone, which wreaked havoc on you the entire series. You need to be able to get your guys' game ready. You can't let your guys go cold and give up games and fall into a 3-1 hole. You need to be able to, and you can't be losing double-digit leads. No. And I know that's guys on the court, and I know that's missed shots, and I know that's an effort issue, but it's in timeouts, it's in substitutions, it's in every facet of the game that is controlled by the coach. And I feel like Brad, he got outcoached. He got outcoached by Spoelstra in this series, and that's a tough pill to swallow. It's hard for me because, again, the path was so easy. You match up so well with the Lakers in the finals if you had gotten there. And I felt like this was such a good chance to get Banner 18. And we just kind of let it go because now KD and Kyrie will be back next year. Philly will have a new coach. Golden State will be back to full strength. The league is going to be harder next year. You don't know if Giannis and the Bucks are going to get bounced in the first round again. You don't know if Toronto isn't going to add another guy, and then they'll be even better, and then they'll beat you in a 7-game series. The Clippers are going to get better. So I felt like this was the Celtics' biggest chance to do it, and they fell flat on their face.
Now, two things from what you just said. One, give credit to Eric Spoelstra too, because he's one of my favorite.
A heck of a series.
He should have been the coach of the year this year because what he did with that team, he made them an NBA Finals team. Not taking anything away from the players that are on that team. He was what got them over the hump of that team. His game planning, his creativeness on the defensive side, everything.
He just pressed all the right buttons at the right time.
He called all the right plays. And I'm one of the biggest Brad Stevens guys you'll ever meet. I do not want him fired. I think he still has a lot left to give to the Celtics. But with that said, for the first time ever in his Celtics career, in his coaching career with the Celtics, his feet have to be to the fire.
Yeah.
I think. I've given him excuses year after year. This year he got flat out coached, pressed every wrong button he could press. He made bad substitutions. He took guys out when they shouldn't have been taken out, especially in a game 6 when you're trying to get to game 7.
That's a winner go home game.
It's a winner go home.
It
doesn't matter for rest. You need to play for tomorrow.
You need to throw everything in the kitchen sink at this team just to hope that you play a game 7.
And he found the right combination with Grant Williams coming in the game after Tice got out.
Mm-hmm.
They went on like an 11-1 run, 11-2 run when he was in. He took him out around that 5:40 mark with that play, the Tatum layup, and put Gordon in. And Gordon had a bad game. Played 32 minutes and got 12 points. Missed a ton of shots, ton of layups, and they should not have taken Grant Williams out of the game. And that's just one example of the many bad substitutions he has made in this Eastern Conference Finals. He made every wrong call you can make. Didn't ride guys that were high, rode guys that were having tough games. And, what do I know? You know what I mean? I'm just some schlub here that coaches Division III freshman basketball. Like Brad Stevens knows way more about the game than I do. But from a person that loves basketball, I think he just made every wrong move you could make it coaching. Like
it's tough.
From top to bottom.
It's tough. I mean, again, and I texted you this team, they're young. I mean, I'm not saying they're old.
The young card is getting old.
They're reaching their prime. I'm not going to say they're in their prime right now, but they're reaching their prime. You're not a bunch of overachievers anymore. Like, people know what this team is. This is a good basketball team. You're not going to get overlooked anymore. You're not the underdogs anymore. You're expected to get to the finals now. Brad was able to play that card when it was a rookie Tatum and a second-year Jalen.
Kyrie and then screwed up.
Kyrie's injured and stuff like that. He didn't have Hayward. He didn't have Kyrie. And especially with last year losing to Giannis in the second round, Brad Stevens needs to be able to get over this hump of the Eastern Conference Finals. You can't just be happy with getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. You need to be able to get to the finals and win. This core won't be around forever. They'll be around for a good amount of years, but this core can't be around forever. You need to be able to capitalize on them. And that's probably the most frustrating part of missing out on this opportunity, because if Brad Stevens and the Celtics win the championship this year, that changes everything for this franchise.
It changes everything.
Everything.
You were able to get a big name free agent in here to help kind of fill what Gordon was trying to do here. You're able to do so much. You give confidence to these young guys. Even just getting to the NBA Finals, you give these young guys confidence. I'm tired of the we're young thing. I get it. Jason Tatum's he's gonna go into his 4th year. Jaylen Brown into his 5th year. Marcus Smart has been around here for a while. Tice is older, but you have Kemba Walker as a veteran. Gordon Hayward's a veteran. Enes Kanter's a veteran. Rob Williams is young. I'll give you that. And he hasn't really played enough. They need to get him more involved into the game. And Grant Williams, who was a big player, is young. I get that. But your core of guys, Jason Tatum's going into his 4th year. Jaylen Brown into his 5th year. Marcus Smart, I don't know what year he's going into, but way more than that. Kemba's, 30-something. Gordon's 30-something. You got some vet guys on this team. You need to make a run. You need to make it to the finals. You have the horses.
I worry more about the mental aspect of if these guys keep falling short of the finals, then you're going to get into these Eastern Conference Finals series, and these guys are going to be second-guessing themselves like, man, we haven't gotten over this hump how many times now? 3, 4, 5. And I feel like that, I don't know if that played a part in this particular series, but
I don't think it did it.
Going forward, I do worry that it'll be a game 5 or a game 6, and they'll be thinking, man, we've been here before and we've fallen flat on our face. And that doubt can almost seep in. And that's why I felt like this could have been a good opportunity to get over that hump, get these guys those. I know it's not in front of fans and it's not the same, but to at least say I played in the NBA Finals. I know what it's like to be there. I know what it's like to play NBA Finals games. That can completely change a player's mentality and a team's mentality.
With that said, what do you think they need? What I have my idea of what for a free agent wise. What do you think they need to add? Who do you think they need to add?
Yeah, and we've kind of talked about this both in text and a little bit before the show. You mentioned that you're looking for bench scoring. You definitely want that guy to help spark the second unit.
And we need a starting center.
Right.
I love Daniel Tice, but he's a backup center.
And a solid big. I do agree with that. I can't really argue with that, honestly. I do want that guy that can play with the second unit to spark and get some points going, because that definitely was something we were lacking with Miami. With Miami, we had the better top-end talent, but we didn't have their depth. They were a solid team all the way to the bottom. And just looking at kind of you sent me this list of guys, you see the Serge Ibakas who could be your big. You have the Marc Gasols who can stretch the floor. The Paul Millsaps who can kind of give you that kind of presence in the paint. And then you have guys like Isaiah Thomas, which I would love to have him back, but I feel like if we wanted him back, he would already be here.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of guy I would want. Someone who you can rely on to score points, come off the bench, know their role. That's a huge thing too. Know their role and say, hey man, you're not going to get too many minutes, but if you can get out there and get us 10 points,
right,
something to just kind of get this thing going.
Yeah.
That's the difference between going down 3-1 and being up 3-1.
Here's what I think they need. And this is, I think it's not crazy to think. And I got specific guys in mind. You mentioned Serge Ibaka. I think that's a great ad. Stretches the floor, shot blocker, rebounding. When you go up against a guy like Bam, you need someone to bang with him down low. And once Tice came out of the game, they didn't have that. So I think a guy like Marc Gasol, who's a vet guy who's been there before, a champion, knows how to play in those big spots. Same thing with Serge. I'd put them same on the same list. You know what I mean? I think they're both great. The other key, so I'll just go through another guy, Dwight Howard. He's going to be in an NBA Finals this year. He's played in an NBA Finals before. Another athletic big who's going to be able to play down low against a guy like Bam. He's going to get you big minutes. He's a vet guy, he's just trying to hold on and play. And then you have the guys like DeMarcus Cousins, who has a lot to prove. And the big thing about him,
a ton to prove.
The thing about those guys that I mentioned, you're going to get them on good contracts. You have Jason Tatum you just paid Jaylen Brown. Marcus Smart's getting paid. You're paying both Kemba and you're paying Kemba for the next at least 3 to 4 years, maybe 5.
I think Hayward has a player
option this year with $32 million. So you're paying those guys over $60 million next year.
Tatum's gonna get a max.
Jaylen Brown's getting paid big. He's getting pretty good deal considering, but he's getting paid a ton of money. Marcus Smart's getting paid a ton of money. So whoever you bring in has to be paid low, have good value for your money.
We're not getting
right. It's going to be low to vet minimum contracts. So DeMarcus Cousins, a prove-it deal, kind of like a Cam Newton type. He's coming off another bad injury, didn't play the whole year this year. maybe you get him on a good deal. You say, hey, you're going to start as our center, play in Boston. We'll work you into the lineup.
Didn't he say he considered us when he was going to Golden State?
I think so.
I thought
think
he said we were on
final.
a short list or something like that.
So he likes Brad Stevens. So I like that signing. I like the couple guys I mentioned. For sparks off the bench, I will help drive Brad Watermaker to the airport. We need a guy. Maybe not Isaiah Thomas.
Well, even I mentioned earlier, like a Chris Dunn.
Chris Dunn, I'm surprised.
Providence product.
If he's available, another guy, Joe Harris. Joe Harris is a good, like you said, scorer off the bench. Old, reliable Jamal Crawford. He's a guy, a vet minimum. You don't like Jamal Crawford?
No, I didn't know. I didn't see him on this list.
I don't think he was on that list, but he signed at the deadline.
Oh, okay. All right.
There's a lot of guys that can, if they bring Marcus Morris back, I wouldn't be opposed to that. Avery Bradley as an option. If we brought him in for a small
just get
deal,
the band back together. Just
literally just find a guard that can control the game. Because you don't have that once Kemba or Marcus Smart come out of the game.
No.
We need to boost some depth.
You need someone who can
guards.
handle the ball. And I'm not saying take over the game, but facilitate, run the floor, call the plays, keep this team from imploding and giving up double-digit leads. That's all I ask.
And maybe that guy's in the draft. I don't know. We'll see what we can get for that Memphis pick.
We have 3 first-round picks, right?
So we should. I don't get why we have so many picks. We should trade them up, try to get up in the draft. But we'll have to see. They need to really strengthen their bench, and they need to really get that starting center guy to help them.
We have
into
the
next
14, 26, and 30 picks.
What is the 26 and 30 pick going to do? And the 47th pick? What is that going to do? You just lost in Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals, and you're saying, oh, don't worry, we get the 47th pick in the NBA draft. Come on. We just spent 6 draft picks last year. And one of them hit. Grant Williams was an impact player.
We are notorious for stashing picks and players.
Danny, start making moves for some of these guys. And the people that say, don't worry, we don't need a starting center. We got Taco Fall in the rafters. He's not going to do it right now. He's not. He's fun.
Rob Williams is my guy, but I feel like they're not grooming him to be a starter.
Well, that's why I said bring in a guy like Dwight Howard. Let him learn from Dwight Howard, who really matches up pretty comparably to Robert Williams.
That's a really good point.
That's a pretty good compare. Robert Williams is pretty much not, I'm not going to say Dwight Howard, but he's a Dwight Howard prototype. He's an athletic big who likes to dunk, get rebounds, block shots. He's like Orlando Dwight Howard. Okay. So I think he can learn a lot from him. I actually really like the Dwight Howard signing if they can make that happen, but I would be happy with anyone. Marc Gasol would be a great one.
I really like Marc Gasol just because he can shoot threes.
Right. So they got to do something, but very disappointing end. And real quick, before we transition out, we're running out of time on this week's episode. Doc Rivers, big news, breaking news.
That's the breaking news.
That's the breaking news.
The breaking news hi-hat.
The breaking news hi-hat. You want a drumstick too for next episode? I'll give you drumstick. There's drumsticks over there.
I think it's gonna hurt my finger after a while.
You can grab it anytime. But Doc Rivers fired from LA.
Celtics win another trade, by the way.
Celtics.
That was worth a first-round pick in 2015. We used that on RJ Hunter, fun fact.
Oh, my God.
I like RJ Hunter.
I liked him, too. We didn't
use him.
We didn't use him.
Jeez.
Probably in China.
Yeah.
Playing in China, maybe retired.
Anyway, keep going. We got people stuff to get to.
So
Turkish basketball.
Turkey. Maybe he's playing against Dennis. Shout out Dennis Clifford. Maybe he plays against
Every
Dennis.
episode we sneak in
Dennis Clifford. So real quick, where do you think he's going, Zach?
Doc? I'm going to say Philly.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's a good chance. He's going to go to a contender.
That's the hot take hi-hat.
No, the hot take symbol.
Not as cool.
It's a crash symbol. You need a drumstick.
Yeah.
I think he's going to the Rockets. He's going to a contender team. He doesn't like to rebuild.
Yeah, he's definitely cherry picking.
So I think he's going to go to the Houston Rockets. But definitely disappointing end to this basketball season.
Let me just say real quick, Celtics, I still don't give up on you. Still love you. Banner 18 next year.
There's always next year. The Buffalo Bills saying of every year.
We'll win it next year when there's limited capacity at TD Garden.
That's right.
Sad Tom drum.
The reluctant take drum.
So, another disappointing season that ended was the Boston Red Sox. We kind of already knew that going in.
At least our hopes didn't get...
At least our hopes, our dreams were not shattered time and time again. First, Ron Renicky was announced he's out.
Thanks for coming, Ron.
Thanks, Ron. Really feel bad for him. He had to deal with that crap.
Yeah, he planned on retiring. He wasn't going to be here anyway.
I don't blame any part of this season on Ron.
No.
He was terrible as a manager, but we knew that going in. He didn't want it to start.
We would have hired someone if we didn't think we were just going to punt on this season anyway.
So, thank you, Ron, for taking the hit.
Moment of silence, real quick, 3 seconds. There we go. Oh, there we go. A little salute.
So, I feel bad for Ron. Quick question for you, Danny. First instinct, who's coming in?
I want Trevor Bauer.
No, for managing.
Oh, for managing. I thought you meant a player.
No.
Managing. Jeez. Alex Cora. Run it back.
I would love to see Alex Cora. I don't think he is going to come in.
Or Dustin Pedroia, like I said last year.
Doc Rivers needs a job.
Yeah.
Doc Rivers. I heard Oil Can needs a job too.
Man, does he need a job? Yeah.
I think, I said it last year too. I'm going to go with it. Jason Baratek.
Ooh.
He's been in the system long enough. I think he'll be a good manager.
It was him. He commented. I think it's either section 10 or the other starting 9. He commented so they made a post about the position being open, and Jason Baratek commented so I don't know. Take that for what you will.
I think he has a chance. I think he's definitely a high person on that list of people to potentially manage.
Yeah, especially if they want to keep it in house.
Right, Euclid.
What's he doing right now?
He's married to Tom Brady's sister.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Good for him, right?
That's a good gene pool to get into. I'll tell you that right now.
Wow. So he's related to Tom Brady. That's crazy.
Yeah. His kids are either, I don't know what he has, but he has a niece or nephew, but Uncle Tom. Huh?
Whoa.
Uncle Tom Brady. Isn't that crazy? So I think it's going to be Jason Baratek. For something that we came up with is a little fun, not really fun because it's depressing, but a little fun little thing to assess the season. We came up with studs and duds. So Danny, what's one stud that you had from this season? One guy that surprised you, that you didn't have on your radar going in, but overachieved during the season?
So a guy that wasn't on my personal radar, but I'm sure you knew a lot about, seeing that you worked with the Pawtucket Red Sox. I'm going to take Tanner Houck. I mean, I had no idea who this guy was, and he's just been nails ever since he came up.
He is my dude. I really, not personally, I don't think you would remember me at all, but he's a funny guy, by the way. He is just nasty. He's got nasty stuff. I saw a comparison, and it's pretty dead on to Chris Sale.
Just right-handed Chris Sale, yeah.
Pretty good comparison to Chris Sale. Pretty dead on how he throws, mechanics of it all. And he's just dominated.
I thought he was just going to be another body that the Red Sox were tossing out there as fresh meat, but turns out he's pretty good.
3-0, 0.53 ERA on the season. 17 innings pitched, 21 strikeouts. That is insane. He is a stud. He's going to be good. He was the one shining spot of that bullpen. Minus, I guess you could throw in... no, there's not really anyone.
Martin Perez, maybe.
Maybe. I was trying to be optimistic, but no, that's it. My guy that I love is another Pawtucket guy that is a stud. We're not mixing up. We're going to be all downers at the end. We should have thought this little through. We'll do 2 studs here. Bobby Dahlback. Bobby Dahlback came on the scene. I'm happy they're finally giving this kid a chance.
All he does is hit homers.
What was our nickname for him? Bobby.
I don't know. You came up with it.
I did come up with it. Bobby Boom Sauce. That's Bobby Boom Sauce. He hits nothing but dingers, and I'm happy they're finally giving him a chance. He's kind of that first baseman that we've been missing. He did come in as a third baseman, but he's a consistent guy to throw over at first, and he's a good power guy. I like him in our lineup. You want to give a dud? Who's one of the duds that you have?
I hate to do this because he was my boy at one point, but Benny Biceps, man, I got to give him the dud.
He's the biggest dud of the season.
Twitter's not going to like that.
Horrible start. And
was
then
that girl that hate like
Brianna something?
I think
BSP.
BSP definitely tweeted it at us when we said trade Benny Biceps. She was not happy.
She wasn't happy.
Oh, she'll be in the mentions again. Benny Biceps is getting the dud. Horrible start to his season. Picks up an injury, and then we just never see him again. I mean, maybe he bounces back next year, but for 2020, he's a dud.
Another dud we have, and I hate to put him on this list, is JD Martinez.
Disappointing.
He had a disappointing year. The one good thing about it is he had such a disappointment year that it makes no sense for him to opt out of his contract.
True, we got him back.
So you got another year of JD Martinez on your team. So the one positive of him being a dud this season, he's back on your team.
He played himself into a contract.
Played himself
there you go.
back into his contract. Real quick before we won't get too much into it, Verdugo is our last stud. He had such a great year. A lot of pressure coming in, being Mookie Betts' replacement, basically, even though he said he
took a little
wasn't.
bit of the sting away.
He's going to be a great player for this franchise.
As long as Mookie doesn't win a World Series ring this year.
Yeah. You're going to be rooting against the Dodgers?
100%, with all my heart.
They'll probably end up winning then. The ownership is our last dud. John Henry is
debacle.
Absolutely insane. You let Mookie Betts walk into the Hall of Fame wearing a Dodgers cap on his head, and it is absolutely something that it would be one of the things it would be like the Celtics probably loss in the playoffs I will never get over in my life in sports. So ownership is our last dud. So that's pretty much all the topics we have. We're getting into our final topic of the evening or morning, afternoon, depending on when you're listening to this.
Day of the day. I don't know.
Day of the day. People's topic.
The people's topic.
So for people's topic, you can reach out on our Instagram or Twitter at Big Red Zone, or you can also leave a comment on our YouTube channel at Big Red Zone. Hit the like button and subscribe. Without further ado, producer John, take it away.
All right, I'm going to try to do this before the second camera dies. Season 3.
We got a couple weeks worth of people's topics too.
Yeah, all 4 of them. We'll start.
Give him the respect he deserves. He deserves to. He's the last one.
Joseph Celia. No, you want him to go last?
Yeah.
Okay.
Back cleanup.
All right,
back cleanup.
First one comes from A-Laps2 on Instagram. He says, Rex Burkhead taken over the starting job? ?
Nope.
No.
It's running back by committee. There's no chance.
I really, there's no clear cut starter. Sony's going to start the game, but anyone can make an impact in the offense.
Next question comes from
Boom, boom.
AK May 96. Is Rex Burkhead Christian McCaffrey in disguise?
Oh my God. Guys, why are we falling into this trap thinking Rex Burkhead is the second coming of Christian McCaffrey? Come on.
Him.
No, he's a good player, but he's not going to do this again.
I love Rexy, but it's going to be like Leonard Fournette. Every other week, someone's going to have a big week.
Michelle will have a big game next week. Then maybe Taylor will have a game. And then maybe Damian Harris is coming back. He'll have a game.
James White
will be back. He'll have a game.
I don't think so.
From @BFried7 on Instagram. Should the Celtics package their picks to try to get a big man or keep rolling with the rotation of Diaz, Rob Williams, and Cantor?
I'd trade the picks for a big in a heartbeat if a team wants to take them. If a team wants 3 middle-of-the-road picks in the first round and wants to give us a big, take them.
Yep.
Take them.
Yep. I couldn't say it better than myself. They always have so many picks and they don't use them appropriately. Let's get rid of those picks.
And the last question. Rounding third.
Oh, no. He's headed for home.
Comes from @Joseph Celia. I think that's his.
Yeah, that's it. I think it's underscore in there too.
Who are your top 3 NBA players you think would excel the best in the NFL right now?
Oh my God, damn.
That's a tough question. I mean, I think
Joseph Sealy comes with sluggers. What can
he
we
does.
say?
He's stepping up his game for season 3. What can I say?
So it's NBA players in the NFL.
If they played in the
Okay.
NFL, I think you got to go LeBron. LeBron's
easy.
He's just big body. He would be able to. He's like a.
He's the typical
Glenn
answer.
Davis.
Yeah, Glenn Davis.
Glenn Davis.
That's a good one.
Probably Giannis. Or
Giannis
you think
is
he's too?
but he's too skinny.
Yeah.
I think who would be a good. I think it would be a scrappy. I could see him as a safety. Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart
Could
would
you
be a
see
good
him
one.
as like a safety, like scrappy safety or running back?
Kawhi as a wideout.
Kawhi, who's like maybe Aaron Gordon because he like has hops. I bet he could be like throw him out on tight end. He's kind of big.
Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis would be a good one.
Top 3. I'm going to go LeBron, Kawhi Leonard, and Anthony Davis.
It's a good 3.
I'm gonna go LeBron, obviously, Marcus Smart, and I'm trying to pick someone different. I don't want to pick the same people, except for because I already picked LeBron.
You already have Marcus Smart, who's different.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to my last one. That's a tough one, Joseph Celia. It comes with some great ones. I'll go Zion. Zion.
That's a good one.
I bet Zion would be a great
That's a good pick.
player in the NFL. So
I'll go Rajon Rondo.
Oh my God.
now we're back in
RJ
08.
Hunter, who's not in the NBA. He's in Turkey apparently, and
Depending if it got cut out or not, you know that.
yeah, I don't know if that part got cut out. And let me think.
Imagine Rondo getting trucked over the middle.
Oh, I know one. Fan and favorite of the show, Dennis Clifford would be a great addition to
Clifford would
the
be good.
NFL.
In the NFL,
Ty Schwab would be a
good
great
in the
person.
NFL. He's hardly
Yeah,
in the NFL.
he's like the
He's
XFL.
XFL, but it says NBA players.
Yeah, that's true. He doesn't play in the NBA, but he still would be a great.
Garrett Davis.
He already played in the NFL. He was a great player in the NFL. Thank you, Joe, Lapdog, Ame, and Burgers.
Beef fries.
Beef fries. I knew it was fried.
7. Fried.
Oh, fried.
Not fries.
Burgers.
I'm hungry. So thank you, everyone. And again, write in on our Instagram. You can write in anytime at Big Red Zone on Instagram, at Twitter, or on our YouTube page. It was a great first episode. First episode of the new studio. Producer John looks like he just ran a marathon over there. He's ready for a nice
the cameras and
bedtime.
the recording. Don't even know if the recording's going to sound good. We'll find out.
So thanks again for watching. Go follow us on Instagram at Big Red Zone, on Twitter at Big Red Zone. Subscribe to the channel and hit the like button on this video and all the other videos that you watch. Leave us a comment on Apple Podcasts and tell a friend, please. Tell us a friend about the pod.
Please.
I want to thank Danny Football for joining today.
Absolutely. I feel like I just went 8 innings, maybe 3 hits. Solid outing, though. Solid outing after coming up from AAA.
And thank you, Producer John, for joining. As always, have a great week, everyone.